Hello? Hello? Are you there? Oh, and we are live. See? So I was live for like 40 seconds and this stupid thing didn't pop up. So I'm sitting all quiet, then going hello and whatever. This is some 2-bit stuff. What is this stupid duck service that we're on? StreamYard? It isn't worth anything. Nothing. Zero, zilch. Gotta find a new platform. Get away from this, man. Anyway, I like reliability. And you know something? There's not a lot of reliability out there in the world concurrently. So, COVID 19 is on everybody's brains because it's a pandemic that swept the globe. Now there's new variants and all whatever. Let's just keep in mind that the the COVID 19 that's infecting people right now today in the United States, more than 75% of those new infections is the Delta variant, right? So you can talk about Omicron all day long. There's people with disinformation, no information, wrong information. They're making things up. I go on Facebook and these people come out with all these statements like they're a doctor working in the field, some scientist who knows exactly this virus and what it's going to do next. Very funny to listen to those guys kind of go on and on and on about you know their the lack of their PhD. You know, I'm not even saying you need a PhD to know what you're talking about because I don't have a PhD and I feel like I know what I'm talking about, but I know what I'm talking about because I do research, and that research is data, and that data comes from real people out there in the world. The what I'm not just reading some news story off of some crap news channel. This is like hospital data stuff I see going on around the world. And you can put the timeline together. You know, any investigator puts a timeline together, and you can see the waves and why they happen. They're all driven by people. It's people who gather, people who bring the virus to other people. They don't want to get vaccinated, or they fight against it, or they think they have some magical solution. They think that their ideas are better, you know. But this is something that has happened. However, and then you can go back to the roots of it, how it happened. China released it, and this came from their weapon lab. Yeah, of course it did. But the reality is, there's nothing you can do about that now. The only thing you can do is avoid it. Avoid it. So, what do I always say to you guys about energy? There's some energy when it's coming at you, and your little plinky blinky form is not going to be able to stop it. Let's say it's a freight train going 100 miles an hour, coming right at you, and you're standing on the tracks. The only thing you can do is get out of the way and let it go past. You know what I mean? Sort it out afterwards, man. You're not going to be able to stop it. And just like this virus, the individual out there who might have great ideas how to stop the virus, he's not going to stop the virus. So Omicron, that's on everybody's lips now because it's the one sweeping the globe, and you can see how more infectious it is over Delta, which I thought Delta was, wow, really infectious, more infectious, right? Remember in June when the CDC said that Delta was not an issue in the U.S. and wasn't going to be, and here we are in December, you know, and we're in the middle of it. Tell that to the hundreds of thousands of people who died. You know, we're almost at the 800,000 marker point for deaths in America. You know, we're leading the world, unless you don't believe China, and I don't believe China. And I feel like a lot of people died, millions, not just like a handful. They're saying 5,000. That's just insane considering all the news that was coming out. Plus, they ordered 50,000 urns, and had those incinerators going 24 hours a day, 40 incinerators, and plus all the crematoriums. So that's so yeah, 5,000 people. So no matter what, if it gets you, it gets you, but you don't want it, so you want to stay away from it. You don't want to be the one. And then this is the deal. Also, oh well, a very small percentage of people actually die who get it. Well, you don't want any percentage. Number one. Number two, it's more than that. It's more about the long term health problems this is causing people. So Omicron, you're going to see something very different. And my fears was when I'm looking from the very first time that this virus showed its ugly face till where we're at now, and the timeline goes on around the world, the rhythm of how it spreads and how it goes. The virus itself is looking to survive. They say they're not intelligent, they don't think, it's not a master plan. They don't have it out for people. It's just what it does in nature, right? Wants to survive and it wants to replicate, and it has all these mutations now that makes it harder for the viruses, the vaccines to fight. If you've had previous infections, it makes it harder to fight. There's a lot of reinfections happening. So my fear was one was going to come along that wasn't as going to be as deadly, but it was going to cause long-term healthcare problems, which overloads the hospitals, which overloads the medical system, and on and on and on. Plus, terrible for the person experiencing those problems, right? And but number two, that it was going to find a gateway inside of people where you really didn't have any or much of an immunity to it at all, because this thing's going to constantly change, and then a deadlier variant is going to come along and be able to just ride its coattails. That's my fear of this. And I haven't been wrong from the start. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying this is what I see, me personally. I'm not talking about news reports. I'm not talking about anything but math, numbers, the timelines, and what I'm seeing. And then we're back right into that heavy flow again, just like it was last December. It was crazy. And we were heading for a peak. Why did that happen? Well, of course, you have your Thanksgiving, you have other things involved. You got the cold weather coming into in much of the US. So you have that issue. But this is something that if people don't bond together and fight, it's not going to stop. It's going to keep testing, testing, testing. Just like I talked last week about breaking codes, encryption. It's going to keep testing, testing, testing till it hits the right code, and then psh, that's it. You know, it's going to scoot right past anything that you think of your antibodies and this. People bragging that they have all this protection now since they've had the vaccine and they've had COVID, whatever. You really haven't seen reinfections in people who have had it up until now with this Omicron. The Omicron is reinfecting people. So you think you'd have some kind of defense against it if you've had it, but it's changing the game. And this was predicted. But how are people reacting? I love England, man. I watch English news because it makes me laugh, and I love how all they can freaking talk about. Number one, if you think that people in England are more sophisticated than people in the U.S., you're wrong. You know what I mean? In fact, it's the opposite. I used to think that, hey, people in England, they act a little nicer, maybe a little more sophisticated. That just means that they're well tamed. They're trained, boy. That queen cracks her whip. Those people, oh yes, what can I do for you, queen? Oh. In America, people be like, F you, queen. Get out of my town. Get off my porch, queen. Come around with that attitude. But you know something? In England, what the headlines are and what they're concerned with, you have COVID-19 sweeping through England. Huge numbers, giant numbers, right? What they talk about is a Christmas party they had at 10 Downing Street, which is like their White House, whatever you want to compare it to, like that. Last year, a Christmas party from last year, and they're like, so they're putting these people on TV who are like just really blood clot crying. Who like this one was like all these pictures of this guy's up on the screen and this tender music plays. You know, the videos going all slow, making all dramatic. And she's like, "This is my father. Last year he went into hospital. I wasn't able to see him because of COVID-19 restrictions. And then when I found out after he died that they had a Christmas party at 10 Downing Street, I was angry. My feathers were ruffled. It wasn't fair. It was that Bojo, Boris Johnson. It wasn't like the Queen or anything. No offense to the Queen, of course. No offense to the Queen. They don't care what they did for the Queen. They don't care what their Christmas was like, the opulence or whatever. All they care about is this other stuff. Let me tell you, you've got the perfect storm. You've got the tipping point happening. The tipping point is when you reach the point to something that it is gone. It goes. You're over. And you have just not only people being divided and the morale low, people, it's the holiday season, all these shipments are offshore, stores are emptied, you got gangs of people robbing people in stores, robbing people in restaurants, all this other stuff going on. And the only thing they're doing in England is talk about Christmas. Is it going to spoil Christmas? Or they had a party for Christmas. Then they go on the street and actually talk to people and how they feel. How do you feel about this Christmas nonsense? And these guys like tell it straight. Like, I don't even care about that. I don't care what the hell they do there. Just get on with it. We have more problems. Everybody said the same thing, that there's more problems. But isn't it funny that it's the media that's driving this? Just like here in the United States, the media is driving this angst towards Boris Johnson. And he's like a Trump guy. He freaking even looks like he's like the English version of Trump, you know? And that's the problem with politics here, there, everywhere. That these forces, which aren't the people, these are corporate forces and political forces that are pushing misinformation, pushing disinformation, driving these things, causing these issues, and it's just a bunch of smoke, But people really need to be represented. Shameful, shameful that they all do it. That it's a culture of corruption in all of these different political bodies. So anyway, so yeah, people think that this long COVID-19 is they're calling it a mass disabling event in America. So you want to know how real it gets, you know? So let me get into this. Is going to scare the hell out of you, you know. And these are this isn't something that you like catch and go away. These things are ongoing within these people, right? So anyway, there we go. Long COVID. You literally can't do anything. So let's see. This woman in the story was first diagnosed with COVID in May of 2020 during a test event at her job where she worked as a case manager, right? She said, when I tested positive, I completed my 10 days of isolation at home from work, but was considered asymptomatic case, which means you have no symptoms. No one else in my household got sick. I started noticing symptoms in July of 2020. So diagnosed and went into isolation in May, right? And then here you are in July, months later. And she started getting symptoms. And they started ebbing and flowing. She says swirling every day. Since then, she got tested on July 5th. The test was negative, and then she had only one negative test since. Bean has experienced a variety of symptoms, which she said really grinds you down, is much more flattening than other forms of chronic illness. These include tachycardia, constant sweating, post-exertional malaise, I mean, These are ongoing problems. This isn't something that comes and goes, because now over 100 million people have reported this, that they have this digestive issues, brain fog, weakness in the hands, loss of fine motor skills, loss of taste, loss of smell, insomnia, uh, you know, and also inflammation of the cartilage that connects the rib to the sternum. You know, so she said when you have such profound exertion intolerance, there are days you literally cannot do anything. You can barely speak, you can't think, you can't enjoy things, you can't tolerate noises and stimuli. You can't even afford the energy required to care for the people you love. It's a profoundly dulling experience and so tiring because everything is exertion. Eating is exertion, responding to voicemails, emails is exertion. Wow. And this is present in a lot of people, over 100 billion who have reported basically the same type of symptoms. Also, fever, a fever that rages, goes away over weeks, sometimes months, you know? So, this is just a chunk, right? And something to be aware of. And if you care, you're the one wearing the mask. You're the one doing your hands. You're the one staying away with large groups of people, and being very weary who you spend your time with. And it's just the way you have to live for now because it's unprecedented. It's something that we all have to get through and work together to beat, and that's everybody together. But when I see this dumbfummery in political circles, I realize that there's no representation, and the only way you can get through it is with representation. So, what happens if you get long COVID? What happens if you do get sick? Let's say you're getting sick and you're going to get married, right? Which you got to be pretty sick to even consider. Okay. Let's say you took a handful of blue pills and you ran to get married, right? It happens to everybody. We all fall in love and lust, and love. Lust's more fun. You think that I haven't been in relationships in my life where I was head over, not thinking clearly? That's when your family or someone close and loves you is supposed to rattle your bones and say, it ain't right. What do you know? I'm in love. What do you know about me anyway? Although you know me all my life, I'm in love. So, but what about? See, it all depends, really. So, is there only one person out there for you? No, there's lots, and it doesn't really matter who. It matters that they kind of fit in the right way with your circle, you yourself, the things you like, the things you don't like. There are people out there, women who are looking for, they want to have babies. They're looking for an acceptable mate to have a baby. And they don't really care about who. They more care about who could supply the best foundation. So it's in nature, right? Who builds the best nest? Who's got the most supplies, man? You know what I mean? Is it fair? No. Especially since the ones with the most supplies usually have a bunch of women chasing them, and they don't settle so easily because they got variety. It's the guys that don't have variety that want to settle. I know dudes who got married to their first girlfriend. Chris, you're crazy, man. First girlfriend. And what did I say? What did I say? Don't do it. Hang out for a while. Be engaged for a while. You don't just have to meet someone and get married. That's a notion that's pushed on men. Because it's a sales game. It's a sales pitch. Even television shows, even that show The Office, that chick that's receptionist was engaged with the guy for 3 years, and they made a big huge deal that it was such a long time, and how dare he, and stringing her along 3 years. You gotta run to get married right now. And what she do? She monkey branched up to the other guy in the office who had more money, you know, and he was following her around. That's what I'll get these guys. They latch on to these girls sometimes. I think it's because they're the ones who are available to them. They're the ones who are there, right? It depends what your circle is. If you work in an office, the people you're going to experience much of the time are the people there. You know what I mean? If you're out of the office, whatever, there's all kinds of people you can experience. But I'm just saying that's that TV show. It's not real. So in the real life, you have people. So here's a story for you. You're gonna like this. After postponing their wedding twice during the coronavirus pandemic, Christine and Gannon Carmeyer were hoping that their new November 2021 nuptials would go off without a hitch. But the bride ended up dancing the night away with a mannequin version of her groom instead. It's a wedding story for the ages and one that the newlyweds will never forget. So on the morning of the wedding, Gannon woke up feeling sick and was hoping it would just pass quickly. But he soon realized that he needed to go to the hospital. He was diagnosed with severe food poisoning. Not laughing at his pain, but yeah, that's pretty bad. The hell you been eating? Probably something. You probably can't cook. Cooked him some horrible stuff. You know what I mean? This meat, this meat's gray, but it's okay to eat, type of thing. So let's see. So we hoped we'd be gone for a couple of hours as the ceremony was scheduled for 4:30. So she didn't cancel. The guy's got severe food poisoning. He's in the hospital. He's being treated, but you better get your stomach together, buddy, because we got a thing going on at 4:30. Ultimately, we thought we could attempt to have the ceremony late in the evening, and was able. So she's kind of pushing for later, just a couple hours later. How how about it, honey? You think you feel a couple good in a couple of hours? He's like, you think maybe 5:30? About 5:45, honey. Alas, fate had other plans for the 28-year-old, who was given a sedative to to help him fight off his illness. So now he's high. Now he's high and sick. Listen to his wife to be pushing him. And you know what? I'd be offended if I was to God. Like, here I am in a goddamn hospital, and you're gonna push me to get married today? Oh my God. Casey kicks the bucket. She wants his stuff. The visiting policies of the North Carolina local hospital meant that Christine couldn't have visited her groom anyway, so she knew that uh, he was getting the care, so she wasn't going to go see him. She had to make some quick decisions, though, on how to proceed for the wedding. Oh, here's a picture of these guys. Oh my God, I bet they have kids now. Ugh. Oh my God, she looks like the type that would just kind of not care. And it doesn't matter who's in the wedding photo with her. It could be any dude, just the ones that have the right resources, right? I think it's that cut and dry. The bride opted to cancel the ceremony portion of the day, but the sit down dinner had already been prepared and paid for and would have gone to waste. So none of the venue's owners, you probably had more of that food poisoning. It was probably like the pre-dinner that made him sick to begin with. The venue's owner suggested that the bride proceed with the festivities with a stick cannon in tow, aka a rolling steamer with pool cues that was dressed to the nines in a suit and had an iPad with Gannon's picture display on top. Oh, there it is. It looks so nice. Although he's a lot shorter than the actual guy. He thought it would be a good comic relief for everyone. This is the guy who runs like the facility that definitely doesn't want her to cancel. He thought it would be a good comic relief for everyone in attendance. Oh yeah, it's funny as hell that the guy is laying there half dead in the hospital, full full of drugs, and then his woman's marrying some iPad. I'd make that marriage stick, man. When they go to get divorced, she could divorce the iPad. You know, give her the suit and the stick figure for the divorce. That guy should run the goddamn other way. Run the other way. This woman's sick. This is a sickness. Good comedy relief. Okay. With only a short period of time before guests were set to arrive there, the bride agreed that it would make sense to at least try to make the most out of the situation, even though it was bittersweet. I was so upset. He couldn't be with us, but when we found out his illness was not life threatening, it was certainly easier to celebrate. So, hey, he's not going to die, but he's laying there in his own poop and puking all over himself. But I'm going to party. Party like it's 1999. Easier to celebrate. Nice. Although the sadness was still there. All right. There are just some things that are out of your control, she explained. All right. Christine's brother Eric was stationed outside the hospital the entire time and kept in contact with the bride throughout the night to keep her posted on her groom was doing. Yeah, where she should have been, by her newly almost husband's side, you know. We informed everyone as they arrived at the venue and kept giving status updates. He should have went anyway with a bucket so he could be puking his guts out every time he looks at her and realizes that he's stuck now. You're stuck, buddy. As it turns out, the couple's guests got a kick out of the stick Gannon and had a fun dancing. Well, he was thinner. And had a fun dancing and posing with him, making you the monkey of the night. You were the fool. You're the fool laying in a hospital, puking your guts out while people are mocking you, man. They're mocking you, dude. Gannon spent the majority of the day asleep in the hospital, but he was able to make a brief 15 to 20-minute appearance towards the end of the night when they put him in the plastic bubble just so he could go on there and say I do to make it legal. I actually didn't want anyone to see me as I was still very out of it from the meds, still wearing his hospital gown with his ass hanging out, walking through his wedding. Where's the cake, baby? You, honey, do you want the fish? Yeah, I don't want the fish. I'll take a little shrimp, though. All right, stop it. Stop it. I know. I'm a freak. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. When he arrived, he started hearing his name chanted by 100 plus people. He was still on drugs, probably. There was only 3 people there. People were chanting my name. You can't exactly not go see everyone, as he said, with poop stains running down his leg. Once I was there, it was a great feeling, though. Oh my God. Interestingly enough, this wasn't the first mishap. Their journey to the altar. The Lovebirds had first planned to tie the knot in September of 2020, but postponed their wedding until the following year in hopes that the COVID-19 situation would improve by then. In the meantime, they said I do in front of the immediate family as this guy puked his guts out. Let's see. In September 2021 rolled around, Christine contracted COVID-19, and the couple had to push the wedding back even more. And then November 14th, when Gannon fell sick, they just get married in the hospital at that point. The couple who got engaged in September 2019 after dating for 7 years. You see, 7 years. 7 years they dated, got engaged 2019, and here we are 2021. So that's not terrible. It's the people who just meet and get married, or they just meet and get engaged and get married. Those are the ones who have issues, man. So whatever. What's the last line on this stupid story? What the hell? Let me go down to the bottom. We are all definitely all weddinged out. We will cherish the memories of our small family ceremony. That is enough for us. We hope to save up for an extended honeymoon where we can just appreciate each other's company, Christine said. Not this dude. He didn't say that. He didn't say, "Hey man, she wasn't outside the hospital. My brother was outside the hospital. He cares about me more than her." Ah! There you go. Oh, here we go. The biggest takeaway for us is that we can do anything together, and our relationship is between us and no one else. It has been quite a journey to get here, but we're here, so happily married. She said. How come the guy's not saying stuff? I want to know what he said. He said, "Ugh." He's still sick. Maybe it wasn't food poisoning. Maybe he was just sick. So we're going to flip the story now. That's just regular old people experiencing their sickness on the way to the altar. How about people who have already been at the altar who are suffering, like Kanye? I can't stop talking about him. He is Britney Spears to me, man. You know that? He's just as much of a train wreck and a freak show. I love it. I love it. I love all of these guys. I love them to death, man. I love them so much I should send them a birthday card. Kim and Pete, of course, Kim Kardashian, who is married to Kanye, who has kids with Kanye, is going out with this guy, Pete Davidson, who's just some regular old comedian dude who was on Saturday Night Live. Well known. I don't watch it, but I know who he is. So she's dating this dude, and now Kanye, can't handle it. Like how OJ was when he lost Nicole, and you saw what happened there. You know what I mean? These guys, like a lot of these guys, I will say this: they will treat the women as property. Women do the same thing to men, and then they forget about their individuality, right? So Kanye's there. He can't handle what's going on. He definitely can't handle. The only reason why she's going out with this Pete Davidson is to torture this guy Kanye. Tell me I am wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. The only reason, because this guy Pete Davidson is not even close to being her type. He's just a funny monkey to her, and the more that she's with him, the more it tortures this guy Kanye. And I can see the pain in his face in this picture right here. There's a lot of pain going on there. So here we go. A year ago, nobody would have expected that we'd be hearing whispers about Kim Kardashian with Pete Davidson. But here we are. According to a new report, the Skims founder is already talking about kids with the Saturday Night Live star less than a year after filing divorce from Kanye West. So she does this in the media. She's not looking to have kids with Pete Davidson. She already has enough kids. She's already hit the wall. She doesn't need to go any further with that. And this guy definitely doesn't want to go there because he can just look at Kanye. Just talk to Kanye about what life is like with her. So the reality is, the only reason she's doing this is to torture the dude, right? You would think J Lo isn't loving it that Ben Affleck is all over up her booty, and then that A Rod sitting there talking about, I'm okay now. I had a good birthday party. You would think these guys would be on top of the world. Like, I don't care. Let him go. Bye. There's the door. Don't call me anymore. There's it. Nope. Not with men. Because men actually fall in love with women, and it's a deep thing. It can be anyway, and tearing that apart is very hard for a lot of women. I don't think they feel that way. I think they can kind of monkey branch to whatever they need to, which is kind of in the nature of things with humans as a species. Hate to say, it's in the DNA. Hate to say, it's in the DNA. As long as you know that, you can be okay. As long as you know what's in the DNA, right? No matter who you are, male or female. I mean, men have messed up too, not just women. Don't get me wrong here. You know, everybody's got issues. All right, so here she is talking about kids with a Saturday Night Live star. Less than a year. That's right. So Kim and Pete, who were first linked in October of 2021. October 2021, right? So, like, 2 months ago. after they were photographed holding hands at a theme park in California. And that could be for any reason. I'm going to punch holes in this whole theory, right? About their whole relationship. I think she's just out and about with him to make the dude nuts, make Kanye nuts. I think that's her pleasure. That makes her happy. Is to be out there making the other dude nuts and torturing him because some people like to torture other people. All right, so they're at a theme park in California, getting very serious. It seems, holding hands. Kim's blown away by how strongly she feels for Pete. She said in the print issue of Us Weekly, per The Sun, Kim never thought she'd date anyone like Pete. Her type is usually so different. So that's a dig to him. That's a dig to Kanye. And this is this is a source that said this to Us Weekly. It's very funny how the source is unnamed and it's just out there with pure daggers for little chipmunk cheek Kanye. Kim never thought she would date anyone like Pete. Loser. Lucky you're there. I hear that, I'd be so upset. You date anyone like me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? They could all have, you know what? I'm feeling a musical coming out of this whole story because I think Pete Davidson needs to have. He's kind of like you go to the musical and you have the straight up singers and whatever. Then you have the guy. I think she likes me. I never thought she would date someone like me. It's like that Cinderella, except it's Pete Davidson. Her type is usually so different. Noting that the Keeping Up with the Kardashians alum, 41 years old, has already told the king of Staten Island star that she loves him. Who said that? I love you. Oh my God. The kiss of death. Kiss of death. According to the source, when Kim met Pete, something inside of her told her she'd want to spend the rest of her life with him. You see Kanye, like listening to the story, with his hands together, just like cracking his knuckles. This my baby mom's with this guy. And I got babies with her, and this guy just looks something like some junk ass Saturday Night Live freak. What is she doing to me? And then his friends are next to him. Yo, man, that's effed up. I know it is. Yo, man, I don't know how I'd react if my girl did that when I was some guy like that. Oh man, I'd go off, man. Kanye, like, yeah, go off like OJ, yeah. Because you know that he doesn't have any friends around him that's actually talking him down. These guys are the ones like fueling the flames. Let's see. All right, so spend the rest of her life with him, and from the sounds of it, Pete feels the same way. They're already talking about kids. What, her kids? How he's gonna watch her kids while she travels around the world to get like, a living babysitter, man, for free. Kim thinks he'd be the best dad. She's smitten. Oh man, Kanye's best dad. I'm the best dad. This guy don't even have any kids. He called him the best dad. He ain't got no kids. I'm the best dad. God damn it. Kim, bring that booty back over here. I'll treat you better. I'll treat you better. Then he'll come up with his own song. Baby, baby. Don't go with that junkie. I'll treat you better. We got kids. We got kids. We got kids. At this point, Taylor Swift should come out and say something. I just feel like I just, I just feel like she would come out with those pointy little cockroach stomping high heels and kick this dude Kanye right in the middle of the balls. You remember when you grabbed the microphone from me? Eh. Oh, baby, baby. Oh. Kim Kardashian is saying, oh, Pete Davidson can take a kick better than that. Ah! It ain't funny, y'all. My life crumbling that for your entertainment, New York Times reporter. Now, let's see. What we got? All right, so that's all well and good. But what does Kim's estranged husband Kanye make of this? You can just see this running from one person with a microphone, running to the other. Hey Kanye, do you know that Kim's gonna have kids with Pete Davidson? He'd be like, what? What you talking about, Willis? what you talking about? That's right. The KKW Beauty founder filed for divorce from the rapper 44 in February 2021 after nearly 7 years of marriage. 7 years, that's a run. You know what I mean? I was in a 14-year relationship. Oh my freaking God. More like 100 years. It was 100 years. 7 years with someone that you don't want to be with. I guess, but the guy's, you know what? He's not situated to have that kind of relationship, and neither is she. They're too available to too many people. The guy's out there. There's women throwing themselves at him. People get bored with the people that they're with. That's just life. I mean, maybe in the later part of life, you can find that person that's going to be the one you love, you're going to be with, great companion, all that stuff. Yeah, companion at AARP discount card type of stuff. But when you're young, if you're young and rich, well, there you go. That's what these guys do. And then they try to get together, they make kids, they have these tumultuous relationships. Then they break up and then it's all blah, 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 blah. And that's why we're reading it, because we love the blah, 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 blah stuff. Here we go. Wait. The Yeezy founder, which is Kanye, who shares kids, North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm with Kim, doesn't believe the romance is as serious as it is. Oh, he's in denial. But now the source comes out and even says that he's in denial, but Kim and Pete are saying they've met their soulmates. Ooh, man, I love it. News of Kim and Pete's baby fever comes just weeks after Kanye staged a public plea asking to get back together. Baby, 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 come back to me and stop talking about baby, baby, babies with Pete Davidson. Come on, baby. He should grab one of those Barry White songs, man, and kind of like, you know, uh remake it. Come on, baby. You know you missed this. You can't be happy with Pete Davidson. He may be funny and everything, but I'm Kanye. Yay. Does he call himself Yee or Yen or something like that now? The rapper posted an impassioned 5-minute video on Thanksgiving. He was my Thanksgiving turkey. You kidding me? He apologized for his misactions. I'm sorry that led to their divorce. And he rapped the rest of it. All I can think every day is how to get my family back, and it's A-OK, and how I healed the world of all the pain I have caused. Kanye said in court. I take accountability for my action now. New words alert, misactions. Hey, one thing, one thing all my successes and failures have in common is me. I'm a mess. Baby, baby, baby. All right. All right, you freaks. You freaks. How dare you laugh at somebody else's destruction? So, one last story, real quick. Joel Osteen, big time preacher, has a big church there in Texas, right? Television evangelist. One of the guys talk all the crap, but They're what they are, right? People give them their life savings and they just buy mansions and expensive airplanes. They get out there and pray. It's what do they call them, charlatans. And then uh, a plumber finds cash checks behind loose toilet in the wall at Joel Olstein's Lakewood Church, man. So let's see, discovery comes after $600,000 in checks and cash disappeared from the Houston megachurch's safe in 2014. Disappeared. I wonder if the insurance company was involved in that disappearance and paid him some money, and now they found it in the wall. Envelopes full of cash and checks were found behind a loose toilet by a plumber doing repairs at celebrity televangelist Joel Olstein's Lakewood Church in Texas. The plumber detailed the bizarre discovery made on November 10th at the Houston mega church on the morning. Would you guys turn that in? Would you guys be that honest to say, "Hey, I found 600,000 bucks worth of cash and checks in your wall," or would you guys think it's like a miracle? You know what I mean? Like you're a plumber, got no money, and here's this miracle. It's a miracle. Yeah, that's what you want to say. Yeah, when the police are coming knocking on your door, and then they say, "Hey, Jerk Olstein, how did this $600,000 find your way?" Then you gotta say it like in Texas. They're in Texas, man. Hey, boy, how'd you find $600,000 getting your wall? He'd be like, "It's a miracle." Oh, okay. I'll write that down. Thank you, sir. It's a miracle, he said. There was a loose toilet in the wall, and we removed the tile. We went to go remove the toilet, and I moved some insulation away. About 500 envelopes fell out of the wall. He said, I was like, oh, wow. That's not Texas. They would have said, yeehaw! That's what a bunch of cash falls out of the wall. The plumber then contacted the maintenance supervisor and turned the envelopes in. Very honest. It's not clear. Oh, you probably found a million. I'm dying, man. he probably he probably found a million. Instead it's found 600,000. Maybe he found 2 million. Let's see. A representative from the church acknowledged the discovery. Recently, while repair work was being done, when undisclosed amount of cash was found. Let's see. They're doing their investigation. The money mystery comes after $600,000 in checks that disappeared from the church's safe in 2014. No arrests were made in the case, and the Houston Police Department's investigation remains open. You know what that means? It means nothing. It means they're gonna go away. Olstein is gonna say the devil did it or whatever. These guys have a line for everything. You know what? And I have to say, Chris Cuomo being fired by CNN, thank God. Finally, freaking finally. So, yeah. And I hear he's mad about it, too. So, good. Right now, the Cuomo brothers, their unemployment is at 100%. so good for them. But, same thing for that Jimmy Swaggart, man. He was out there, and he got caught with those hookers. He got caught in LA, I believe it was, with a prostitute in his Jaguar with him while he was, I don't know, healing, praying, doing something with her. And then, they found him, his big fat Rolex watch he had on. And then, the cops made a big deal out of it. They arrested him for whatever. And then his church, you think they lose the church? Here's a guy preaching against that sort of stuff, preaching against prostitutes, preaching against wealth, even though he's in the midst of wealth. What does he do to his church? He goes in there and says, I have sinned. I have sinned and I need money to pay, get the devil off my ass. And they gave him money. And that's the history of human beings and their stupidity, and you can't fix stupid. I'll see you guys next week on the Red Pill News. Take the red pill, open up your eyes. Bye-bye.